Shalom. There are so many blessings in our lives, but with this global pandemic, coupled with the anger and despair in America's streets, it can take extra effort to identify those brachot. As Pikuach Nefesh demands that we're physically distant from each other, our care for humanity demands that we find ways to draw closer to one another, to speak the same language, to be the very best Jews, Americans, and human beings that we can be. In Pirkei Avot, the ethics of our ancestors, Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel taught, the world stands on three things: al hadin, ve'al ha'emet, ve'al ha'shalom, on justice, on truth, and on peace. We're responsible for all three components: justice for everyone, not just my family, not just my community, not just my religion, and not just my race. We can be a great society when we see and hear each other, try to correct that which is wrong, and make sure that everyone is safe, both physically and spiritually, and has the opportunity not just to exist, but to thrive. And we need to do better. Just as our phones and computers can shine the light on truth, they can also distract us and shift our focus to things which are not at the critical core. This can and certainly is happening in the political sphere, in other ways too. Don't be distracted. In our country of freedom, of law, of dignity, we need to remember that. My first visit to Washington came a generation ago. I was here to protest for the Jewish people. Protests are an essential gift of a democratic society, and those voices must be respected. Looting is a criminal act, completely unacceptable, but that doesn't negate those other valid American voices. Tradition teaches that we are all, every one of us, created in God's image. And some of us are in pain right now, and those people need our compassion and our support. As Jews, we've suffered throughout history, hated for who we are, and that hatred is still present in that rampant anti-Semitism of today. But it's not a zero-sum game. While we acknowledge and fight against that, we simultaneously have the responsibility to push back vigorously at those who direct their hatred at others. Together, we must break that cycle of hate. I'm not going to pretend I have the perfect answer, but I know that our tradition, no matter our political shades, teach us that we must have open eyes, open ears, and most importantly, open hearts. People are suffering, and we need to understand their pain. Judaism demands that we do better this year than we did last. We do better this week than in the previous one. It demands that we don't just type furiously on our phones, but that we look for resources, l'taken olam b'malchut Shaddai, to repair our sacred, fractured world. Some of those resources are financial, some emotional, some civic, some spiritual, but we all have resources. May we all work hard as individuals, as a community, and as a society to pool those resources and to become the most religious people we can be, the most sacred nation we can be. For that is how we bring about the third foundation, that of shalom, of peace. It's striving to achieve those three things, justice, truth, and peace, that enable us to be part of Olam Tikva, a world of hope. May we work even harder to continue to earn that name.